Kalen Ward is surrounded by armored alien warriors on a silent battlefield. At the center stands General Varela, the most feared warrior woman of her species, tall, strong, deadly, and known for never showing weakness. Just as she raises her glowing blade toward him, Kalen panics and blurts out everything freezes. Varela's eyes widen, her sword slips from her hand and crashes to the ground. Behind her, her warriors gasp in shock. And Varela, the legendary general, lifts her hands to hide her face. This moment becomes the seed of a dangerous and unexpected bond. Kalen is sent as an ambassador to the warrior world Rykaris, a place where strength defines value. Humans are seen as physically weak but clever. Kalen hopes to negotiate peace, but rumors say the Rykari leader hates humans. Welcome to my channel Starlight Sci-Fi Stories. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Kalen Ward stood alone in the center of a wide stone courtyard, his heart pounding so hard he could hear it echo inside his helmet. Around him, more than 100 alien warriors formed a tight circle. Their armor glowed with sharp blue lines, and their spears were pointed straight at him. But none of them scared him as much as her, the tall warrior woman walking toward him with slow, powerful steps. General Varela of the Rykari. She was the most feared fighter on her entire planet. Her armor looked carved from black metal. Her eyes glowed bright silver. Her long braided hair swung behind her like a whip. She held a glowing sword in one hand, and each step she took made the ground shake. Kalen was supposed to negotiate peace. He had not expected to meet a legend, or to anger her within seconds. As Varela reached him, raising her sword to rest against his throat, one stupid, panicked word escaped his mouth and changed everything. He said, wait. You don't have to do this. You're actually kind of sweet. The entire world stopped. Varela froze. Her sword slipped out of her hand and hit the ground with a loud clang. And then, unbelievably, she lifted both hands and covered her face like a shy girl. The strongest warrior in the galaxy was embarrassed. That moment was the spark that would change both of their lives. Kalen's arrival only 1 hour earlier, Kalen Ward had landed his shuttle on Rykaris, hoping he wouldn't die on this mission. He was a human ambassador, young, nervous, and definitely not the best fighter. But he was good with words, and humanity trusted him. Rykaris was a war world. The planet was full of tall mountains, giant stone fortresses, and bright purple skies. Even the air felt heavy with tension and pride. Humans and Rykari had almost gone to war many times. Kalen was here to help change that, but the moment he stepped off the ship, he realized something was wrong. The warriors waiting for him were armed, and angry. State your purpose, the lead warrior growled. Kalen lifted his hands in peace. I come to talk, to find a way our people can work together. The warriors exchanged looks. Take him to the general, one said. Kalen swallowed hard. General Varela was the last person he wanted to meet unprepared. First sight of the warrior woman, the fortress they brought him to was massive, with high black walls and carved stone pillars. The inside smelled like metal, fire, and training sweat. Warriors sparred everywhere. Then the great doors opened. Varela stepped out. Kalen had seen pictures, but none of them were close to the real thing. She was tall, almost twice his height, and strong in a way that made him feel like a stick. Her armor had deep blue glowing lines shaped like claws. Her sword was nearly as long as he was. She looked at him the way a hawk looks at a mouse. So, she said, her voice deep and sharp. The humans send a soft one. Kalen's smile shook a little. I prefer the word friendly. Her eyes narrowed. Weak, then. He coughed. Let's talk about peace, shall we? But Varela stepped closer, close enough that he could feel the heat from her armor. Here, words are weapons, she said. Choose yours very carefully. The mistake that changed everything. The warriors pushed Kalen into the courtyard. A crowd formed. Varela began circling him like a predator. You enter my territory, she said. You question our strength, and you bring no gifts of respect. Kalen blinked. I brought a handshake. The warriors gasped as if he had insulted their ancestors. Varela stopped walking. Her expression sharpened. Human, she said slowly, you speak too boldly for someone so small. Kalen took a breath. If he failed, war would begin. He had to say something, anything, to calm the situation. But panic took over. He opened his mouth and blurted out, wait. You don't have to do this. You're actually kind of sweet. The reaction was instant. Varela's sword fell from her hand. Her silver eyes widened. A strange pulsing glow spread across her cheeks, her species' version of blushing. And then the unthinkable happened. The terrifying warrior woman raised her hands and covered her face like a child caught doing something embarrassing. A low shocked sound spread through the crowd. Varela was shy, Kalen stared, the warriors stared, even the wind seemed confused. I didn't mean, Kalen tried to say. But Varela spun around so fast her braids whipped in the air and marched away. The warriors looked at Kalen like he had performed dark magic. The law of emotional dishonor. Two warriors grabbed Kalen, but not in a harmful way, more like they were scared to even touch him. What did you do to her? One whispered. Nothing, Kalen protested. I just said she was sweet. The warriors gasped again. A female warrior leaned closer. Do you not know, among our people, that word is intimate? Kalen blinked fast. Intimate? I didn't mean it that way. Well, she clearly did, another warrior muttered. Then the highest-ranking warrior stepped forward. Listen, human, because of your words, the general has suffered emotional dishonor. You must stay close to her until she sorts out her feelings. What does that mean? Kalen asked nervously. It means you are now her responsibility, the warrior said. And she cannot avoid you. Kalen covered his face. Oh no, living in the fortress they brought Kalen to a private hallway inside the fortress. The walls were stone, decorated with glowing sigils. There were two doors facing each other. The warrior pointed. This is your room. The room across is the general's. Kalen almost choked. I stay this close to her. It is tradition, the warrior said. Good luck. Try not to die. Before Kalen could ask more, the warrior hurried away as if the area was cursed. Kalen sighed and entered his room. It was surprisingly nice. Warm lights, a soft bed, and a small window overlooking the mountains. But he couldn't enjoy it. His heart thumped as the door across the hallway opened. Varela stepped out. Without her helmet, she looked even more intimidating, but also more expressive. Her glowing cheeks were still visible. She avoided his eyes completely. Kalen waved awkwardly. Hi. She dropped the metal cup she was holding. It hit the floor and shattered. She quickly knelt to pick it up, but her hands were shaking. Do not speak, she said quickly, her voice lower than normal. Not to me. Kalen hesitated. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to embarrass you. Varela's cheeks glowed brighter. Stop speaking. But, stop. She spun around, braid swinging, and walked back into her room, slamming the door so hard Kalen thought the wall cracked. He sat on his bed and whispered, What have I done? A warrior with a secret soft side. The next morning, Kalen woke to the sound of something strange, soft chirping. He peeked into the hallway and found Varela walking toward a door at the end. She didn't notice him. Curious, Kalen followed quietly. The door led to a garden. The garden was beautiful, glowing flowers, soft grass, and tiny alien animals hopping around. They looked like little blue rabbits with wings. And Varela was smiling. Not a dangerous smile, not a warrior smile, a soft one. She knelt and let one of the creatures climb onto her arm. It chirped happily, and she gently petted its head. Kalen stared, shocked. The terrifying warrior general liked cute things. But when she turned around and saw him, her eyes went wide and she jumped like she'd been caught stealing. How long have you been standing there? She demanded. A little, Kalen admitted. I didn't know you liked soft animals. Her glowing cheeks returned instantly. I do not, she snapped. These creatures require training. Kalen watched one of the small animals lick her hand. Right, he said softly. Training. Varela practically sprinted out of the garden. Kalen laughed quietly to himself. Growing tension in the fortress. Not everyone was amused. Many warriors whispered when Kalen passed by. Some said he used human tricks on their general. Some said he was her weakness. Some believed he was a threat. One warrior, Commander Tharik, looked at Kalen with cold hatred. Kalen felt danger growing around him, but he couldn't leave. The traditions of Raikari law forced him to stay until Varela declared the emotional bond resolved. But she refused to speak to him. And the longer he stayed, the more warriors grew suspicious. A late night attack. One night, Kalen couldn't sleep. He stepped into the hallway to get some air. That was when he heard footsteps behind him. A shadow moved. Then a voice whispered, You should never have come here, human. Before Kalen could turn, a blade was at his throat. Commander Tharik, there is only one way to free the general from this shame, Tharik said coldly. Your life must end. Kalen backed up until he hit the wall. We can talk about this. No talking. Tharik raised his blade. Kalen squeezed his eyes shut. Then a thunderous roar shook the halls. Farrick. Kalen opened his eyes to see Varela charging down the hallway like a storm. Her armor glowed. Her eyes burned. Her fists clenched tight. Farrick turned toward her, too slow. Varela slammed into him with the force of a falling meteor. His blade flew across the hall. She grabbed him by the throat and lifted him off the ground. "You dare touch what is under my protection," she growled. Farrick choked out, "General, he has changed you." Varela tightened her grip. "Speak again, and I break your bones." She threw him to the floor. Hard. Then she turned to Kalen. Her voice dropped. "Are you hurt?" Kalen shook his head. "No, thanks to you." Her cheeks glowed. She looked away quickly. "You stay behind me," she ordered softly. "No one harms you, not while I breathe." With that, she stepped forward, placing herself between him and any danger. And for the first time, Kalen realized. The strongest warrior on the planet was now protecting him. But why? After the attack in the hallway, everything changed inside. The fortress. Kalen could feel it in the air, heavier, sharper, more dangerous. Someone had dared to attack him, and Varela's rage echoed through the halls long after she dragged Farrick away. But something else had changed too. When Varela turned back to face him that night, when she placed herself between him and danger, her glowing cheeks and trembling voice told a different story. She wasn't just protecting him because of tradition. She was protecting him because she cared. And that terrified the entire fortress. A new level of tension by morning, every warrior knew what had happened. They stood straighter when Varela walked by. Some lowered their heads. Others looked confused or afraid. As for Kalen, warriors now gave him a wide circle of space, as if he carried a dangerous spell. When he walked into the training hall for breakfast, whispers followed him. "That's him, the human who made the general glow, the human she risked her honor for. Who is he to her?" Kalen tried to ignore it, but it wasn't easy. He grabbed a tray with simple fruit and bread, sat alone, and quietly ate. Then a shadow fell over the table. Varela. She sat down beside him, causing half the hall to gasp. Kalen froze. Morning. Her silver eyes flicked away. Morning. Silence. A long silence. Finally she spoke in a low voice. "I should not have left you alone last night. That was a failure on my part." "It wasn't your fault," Kalen said. Farrick was angry at me. "Not at you." Varela's jaw tightened. "Everything that happens under my command is my fault." Kalen saw the guilt in her eyes, and for the first time, he wasn't scared of her. He was worried for her. "Thank you," he said softly. "For saving me." Her cheeks glowed. She looked away. A winged rabbit screamed nearby. Even it could sense the tension. "I only did what was necessary," she muttered. Kalen smiled. "Still, thank you." Varela gripped her tray so tightly it almost cracked. The council calls a meeting later that day. Varela summoned Kalen. "The High Council wants to see us," she said. "Both of us." Kalen blinked. "Together, yes. They are unhappy. They believe you are a distraction." Kalen sighed. "Great. I always wanted to be a reason for political disaster." Varela didn't smile, but her eyes softened. They walked into the council chamber, a tall circular room with stone walls carved with ancient battles. 7 elders stood there, stern and silent. One pointed at Kalen. "You, human, have brought chaos to our leader. Our strongest warrior loses focus. Weakens. Blushes." Varela's cheeks glowed instantly. "I do not." Another elder cut her off. "Your emotions cloud your judgment, General." Varela stepped forward. "Kalen is under my protection. He did nothing wrong." The first elder frowned. "Protection? Is that what you call it?" Kalen felt the tension rising. He spoke before Varela could. "If my presence is causing problems, I can leave. I don't want to harm anyone." Every warrior gasped. Varela took a step toward him. "No," she said loudly. "You will stay." The council fell silent, and Kalen understood something. Varela wasn't protecting him because of tradition. She was protecting him because the thought of him leaving hurt her. But before anyone could speak again, an alarm shook the entire fortress. A deep horn roared through the halls. The walls trembled. Varela spun around. An attack. A warrior rushed in, shouting, "Enemies approaching the eastern cliffs. They number in the thousands." The council froze. Varela didn't. She turned to Kalen. "Stay close. This battle will decide everything." 3. Preparing for war, the fortress exploded into action. Warriors ran through halls, grabbing weapons and armor. The sky outside darkened as enemy ships appeared over the horizon like a swarm of metal insects. Kalen felt his heart drop. The enemy wasn't just coming for the Rykari. They were coming for both their species. This is a united attack, Kalen said. They want us weak. Varela nodded. Then we make them regret it. Her armor shimmered as she activated her full battle mode. Blue runes lit up across her chest and arms. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever. She was terrifying. She was beautiful. She pointed at Kalen. You stay behind me, no matter what. I can help. I said behind me. Her voice cracked, not with anger, but fear. Fear of losing him. Kalen nodded gently. All right, behind you. The battle begins. The fortress gates opened with a thunderous crash. Rykari warriors charged forward, spears glowing, swords singing with energy. Enemy forces, tall, metallic creatures from the castle dominion, marched toward them in rows, firing energy bolts that lit the sky. Varela led the charge. She moved like a storm. Her sword cut through metal armor like paper. Her roar shook the ground. Warriors followed her with fierce pride. Kalen stayed behind a ridge, using a human shield device to block incoming shots. He wasn't a soldier, but he wasn't useless either. He spotted an enemy sniper unit preparing to fire on Varela. Varela, left ridge. She turned just as the sniper fired, and blocked the shot with her arm. The force pushed her back a step, but she didn't fall. Instead, she launched herself forward and destroyed the sniper nest with one sweeping motion. She landed beside Kalen. You see everything, she said, panting lightly. Useful. Kalen laughed breathlessly. I try, but the enemy kept coming. Humanity and Rykari FIGHT as one. The battle grew deeper and more chaotic. Rykari warriors were strong, but the enemy machines were endless. Varela fought at the front, but she couldn't be everywhere at once. Kalen ran across the battlefield, activating shield barriers, warning groups about ambushes, and throwing small EMP grenades that short-circuited enemy bots. At one point, 3 machines cornered him. Kalen lifted his small pistol, a toy compared to their weapons. Then Varela landed in front of him like a meteor, slamming her fist into the ground. A shockwave exploded outward, destroying all 3 machines instantly. She turned to him, eyes burning. I told you to stay behind me. Kalen wiped dirt from his face. I also told you I could help. Varela stared at him. Slowly, a smile appeared. A real one, sharp but warm. Then help me win, she said. They fought side by side. Human intelligence, Rykari strength, perfect harmony. Other warriors saw it and followed their example. Soon, humans and Rykari in nearby bases began coordinating. The battlefield shifted. The enemy began to fall back. But the final wave was the worst. A massive war machine rose from the cliffs, a towering giant with glowing weapons. Varela stepped forward. Stay back, Kalen. This one is mine. The machine fired. Varela blocked it but fell to one knee. The blast was too strong. Kalen ran to her side. Use my shield generator, he shouted. It won't hold. I know, Kalen said. But maybe it'll give you enough time. He pressed the generator into her hand. Varela stared at him, eyes wide with emotion. You would risk yourself for me? Kalen smiled gently. You've been risking yourself for me since the moment I called you sweet. Her cheeks glowed bright. Then she roared, leapt forward, and struck the war machine with a blow so powerful it split the ground. The shield generator absorbed one blast, then broke, but it was enough. Varela climbed the machine, tore open its core, and drove her sword through it. The explosion lit the sky. The battle was won. 6. After the battle, when the dust settled, the warriors cheered Varela's name. But Varela didn't go to them. She walked straight to Kalen. He sat on a rock, exhausted but alive. She knelt in front of him, something no warrior general ever did. Are you hurt? She asked. Not really, he said. A little burned, a little tired, a little hungry. Varela let out a breath, a shaky one. Her armor dimmed, her eyes softened. You stayed by my side, she whispered. Even when the whole fortress wanted you gone. Kalen nodded. You protected me, he said softly. Even when it put you in danger. Varela looked like she was struggling with something deep inside her chest. Finally, she spoke. The is something I must say. Kalen leaned closer. Varela's cheeks glowed brightly, brighter than at any time before. She lifted her hands to cover her face but forced them back down. I do not understand human feelings, she whispered. But I understand this. When you said that word, sweet, it shook me. Kalen smiled. Varela continued. No one has ever spoken to me like that. No one has ever looked at me the way you do. You are different, and it frightens me. Kalen reached out slowly and touched her hand. It doesn't have to be frightening, he said softly. It can just be real. Varela swallowed hard. Kalen Ward, she said, standing tall. I care for you. He stepped closer. And I care for you, Varela. Her glowing cheeks were brighter than the sun. And then, in a low trembling voice, she said, you may call me sweet again, if you wish. Kalen leaned forward. You're more than sweet, he whispered. You're incredible. Varela covered her face with both hands again, her entire body glowing with embarrassment. But she didn't turn away. Instead, she stepped closer. A new beginning. When the council learned of the victory, and how humans and Rykari fought together, they agreed to a new alliance. Varela was named the first commander of the United Forces. And Kalen, he stayed on Rykaris, not because of duty, because of her. Walking beside him one evening, Varela asked quietly, Kalen, what do humans call someone they want to stay close to? Someone they trust and feel for. Kalen laughed softly. We call them a partner. Varela looked down, glowing deeply. Then, are you my partner? Kalen took her hand. Yes. Her eyes widened, then softened. She squeezed his hand gently, careful not to break it. Final moment as they stood on the mountain cliff, watching the purple sunset, Kalen whispered, you know, you're still sweet. Varela hid her face with her hands. But she didn't let go of his hand. Not this time, not ever again.